In the beginning, there was nothing. The glow of a single dot marks the turning point for all subsequent generations of video games. The first games recognized by the general public as video games were created on pre-war mainframes, which actually had the purpose of cracking enemy codes and calculating ballistic trajectories of projectiles. One of the first known developments in this area, similar to today's video games, was the mathematical game NIM, which was developed on a specially built computer called Nimrod sometime in the year 1951. It is also considered to be one of the first games with the ability to display graphics on the screen. In 1955, the US military created one of the first games that simulated a fictitious conflict with the Soviet states in Europe. It was called Hetzplay, or Hutspiel in German. But the first really brightly shining light on the video game horizon illuminated itself in 1958, Tennis for Two. A simple tennis simulation in which the players had to get the ball, displayed as a luminous point, over the net. The whole thing was played on a flat two-dimensional tennis court, which was then presented on an oscilloscope. The year 1960 saw the first real leap in video games, as the, for the time exorbitantly equipped, TX0 calculator got the first real hack in history installed by a couple of young students named Russell, Gretz and Vittonen at the Massachusetts Institute for Technology. The hack was called Space Wars, a two-player game which had the goal to shoot and destroy the other player's spaceship with torpedoes. The game was so popular that the manufacturer DEC inserted it as an add-on to each of his sold computers. By the end of the 60s, it was almost on every university computer in the United States, and many young students were playing and experimenting with it. Unfortunately, for many it was not possible at the time to get a computer at their home, and if so, there were no games for it to be seen anywhere. Computers just weren't affordable at unit prices of hundreds of thousands of dollars a piece. However, this should change abruptly in the early 1970s. The commercialization of these electronic distractions became a reality through arcade games. At the end of the 60s, the computer technology was ready for coin games, which were mainly based in Chicago due to companies setting up various vending machines. These early arcade machines were not really crammed with electronics, rather they were based on electromechanical components which drove something along a path which then had to be shot by the players. Let's take a closer look at the 1969 designed Sega game called Missile. These early beginnings and the now emerging interest in coin-based games through the now happening, ever-increasing widespread of games caught the attention of a few young Silicon Valley engineers. Among those engineers was one man who was destined to uproar the entire industry. His name inseparably connected with the invention of the first commercial video game, as well as with the birth of an entire industry.